It's not started.
All right, and we are live. 7:30 Central Standard Time. Welcome everybody to the show. Of course, there's like 2 people here right now, so welcome to everybody who's going to be here in a minute. Thanks for showing up tonight. This is our weekly live stream, Unhinged Tech, the latest and greatest tech talk show on Wednesday night, of course. And you have me, Tech Odyssey, and also English Dan on the other end of the screen there. Say hi.
So.
Oh, goodness. So there's been a lot of excitement already this week. Here we are on Wednesday. I like doing the show on Wednesday because it's kind of right at the right time of the week. Like a lot of stuff happens on Monday and Tuesday, and then some other stuff happens, towards like Thursday or Friday. So it's like it's a good opportunity to talk about the stuff that's happened, and then also the stuff that's going to be happening soon at the beginning of next week. I think Wednesday is a good time for talking about tech updates.
Great. I'm not even paying attention. Sorry, I'm moving my light around.
Oh, okay. So we got a couple people here already. Mike is here. Tech Keen Mike, Saturday Night Tech Fights. Welcome, Gary. Glad you could finally make it again. I know Gary's been busy lately, so thanks for stopping off. And also, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, I was looking on Twitter earlier, and I think he had 1,000 subscribers today. So super congratulations for that, Mr. 1K Gary.
I know, right? Balling.
Lots. Yeah, he's balling in subscribers now. Don't spend them all in one place. But yes, cool for him. And yeah, before we get started on other things, I do want to talk briefly about the Saturday Night Tech Fight. So that was fun this last Saturday, and I got to be a judge. They did the first tag team duo. So that was interesting. It was cool seeing that format. And then, of course, I told Mike that you and I would hop on there for some sort of a tag team battle later on this season.
Yes.
But this Saturday is going to be another battle royale. Hey, Ryan. Another battle royale, but there's going to be some serious prizes this week. So the winner, I guess, is still going to get the 60 bags of popcorn. But on top of the 60 bags of popcorn, they're saying the show sponsor said if we can get 300 people in the chat, somebody's going to take home an iPhone SE 2020 edition. I think there might have been something else out there. And I talked to Mike and I told him, hey, on top of all the other bounty, I don't know if it's going to be this week or some other week, but I told him that I'm going to throw in a pair of Jabra Elite Active 65 Ts to go along for a prize. So,
Shut up. Sorry.
I'm hoping that this can really get some traction. It seems like there's a lot of people that are really coming in and supporting the tech fights now. So I'd really like to see. I'd like to see the 300 people get in. I think that'd be really cool. Are you still messing?
I'm muting everything now because everything's been on full blast. So muted.
Oh, and a lucky person in the chat will receive an undisclosed prize as well. So lots and lots of excitement. Make sure you don't miss the Saturday Night Tech Fight. Follow Tech Keen Mike over on the YouTubes, and it's at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. But now all that stuff's out of the way.
Can I just say the undisclosed prize is a photograph signed of D's nuts?
Oh, on your chin?
If that's where you want them.
So, lots of cool stuff this week. Some really curious timing. Monday was yesterday. Yesterday was OnePlus NORD Day. So we had the OnePlus NORD. And then today is the official release of the LG Velvet over at AT&T, which, I got one. Club LG Velvet. Hey, bought it. So, yeah, really interesting. We've got 2 different phones here from 2 different manufacturers. Of course, the Velvet had already come out over in Korea in the spring, and then now it's here in the United States, and it's going to be available on other carriers moving forward into the summer. But $599 price point, Snapdragon 765G, 128 gigs of storage, 6.8-inch OLED. The curious thing to me, of course, just like the V60, is it doesn't have facial recognition. Again, and I don't get it. I don't understand why they can't just...
Why they would leave that off, because it's a built-in feature. They have to actually go in to disable it when it's actually already there. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. And the fingerprint sensor works fine. And I mean, the camera actually seems to take pretty legitimate photos. It's got a nice natural tone to it, a little bit more toned down than the saturation, I think, on the V60. Just, it's more
realistic.
It's more akin to the iPhone. I like that. Hey, Fox Tech, welcome for showing up.
Selfie camera on it is, you can get some pixel quality selfies out of this camera. And that's, I am shocked. And that's what.
No, that's saying something. It's really impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. And Ronald Collins down here brings up the Asus Republic of Gaming 3 phone, which flew under the radar and came out today. So it's going to be really interesting. Oh, and also the Samsung went ahead and announced the Z Flip 5G out of nowhere.
What was that, though? We're going to stick an 865 Plus in it and give it 5G, but then we're going to charge you more money. $1,449.
Yeah. Okay, $1,380 for the first one. I get it. But moving the price up. Granted, they did put the Snapdragon 865 in here, but here's the thing. I'm using the Z Flip right now. Totally love this phone. And I never thought I would. We've had this conversation several times. But it has a 3,300 milliamp battery. The battery life is not impressive. I have to plug this thing in by about 7:30 in the evening because the battery starts getting low. So if you're going to throw a Snapdragon 865 in there, you have a 5G modem in there now, and you're going to charge more money, and you're not going to increase the battery size. Why in the world would you do that? It's going to get even worse battery life, or you're going to have to disable the 5G, which what's the point? Then just have the regular Z Flip. So if you're in the market for a Z Flip, and if you have one, definitely don't upgrade to the new one because you're going to be doing yourself a horrible disservice.
You're never going to tell that you're using an 865 Plus over the 855 on that phone either. And there's no differences aesthetically to it. It looks no different than the other one. So I don't see the point in it whatsoever.
And on top of that, I don't think that they even upgraded the cameras. I think it's probably still the same cameras.
The only thing is a processor and 5G, and that's it.
Yeah, same amount of RAM, same resolution, full HD plus, haven't made any changes to the screen, no enhanced refresh rate. So I'm like, I really like the colors though, like that goldish bronze color, the gray color. They look really slick. And but yeah, when I saw that today at that $1,449 price point, I was just like, come on, guys. And then on top of that, we're only like 2 weeks away from Unpacked. Why would they do that now? I mean, I guess because they don't consider this a new phone. It's just a refresher.
How much is the Z Fold 2 going to be? And how much is the Note Ultra or whatever they're calling it going to be? I think they're putting this out there to prepare your butt to get drilled by the Samsung D in your wallet.
I had the exact same thought because my thought process was I expected this to be the same price or a little bit cheaper. So if they're bringing this one out with a price increase, that tells me that the Fold is going to have a price increase as well. And it wouldn't surprise me now that they've got the kinks worked out of it, now that they've got the screen issues from last year sorted out, now that people have got a taste for the Fold life and they saw what kind of numbers it was going to do for production, I bet you it's $19.99.
At least. I wouldn't be surprised if it was more because it's supposed to have a full screen on the front. So they'll say, instead of this little one, they'll price bump that. The camera's going to be on the inside, supposedly. They'll price bump because of that. Going to have some kind of new Corning display, supposedly. I wouldn't be shocked if it was $21.99.
$21.99 is a lot, and I could see that.
It is.
It is. But I think
because they're trying to make it exclusive.
I think that now that Huawei has been basically shut out of the entire U.S. market and there's no other folding phone on the horizon from anyone, they have full run of the market. I mean, there is no folding phone, and the Duo may not even come out at the end of this year. So, yeah. Greg. I hope it's $299 or $29.99 so you can make your wallet a little lighter, Greg. He's mad because I won't sell him my regular Fold. And just so you know, my 10-year-old's playing Fortnite on it right now. So
disgusting.
There you go, Greg. I still love you. But yeah, so I think the Fold 2 is going to be more expensive. My guess is $19.99, but it wouldn't put it past me to go to $21.99. And then
how much was the first one? $19.80, $19.79?
It was like I can't remember. Let me see. what was the Galaxy Fold MSRP? It was like $18.99, I think, or not.
I thought it was 1979 or 1980.
Oh yeah, 1979. I don't know why I was thinking it was 1929. So yeah, it's probably going to be 2100 then. Yeah, I could definitely see that, and that's just crazy, man. I'm totally not buying it. Absolutely not buying it. Hey, Big John. Yeah, so I'm totally not buying the Fold 2. I cannot afford it, dude. I am swimming in phones. I'd have to sell like 3 of these phones to get like the down payment for one of these new ones.
Which you will.
Oh, no, I will not.
No, yes, you will.
My channel is just not geared towards that stuff. I mean, I made
something to do with your channel. It's nothing to do with your channel whatsoever.
Here's the problem. There's 3 phones coming out, and the only one that I wanted was the Z Flip 5G because I was hoping it was going to have upgrades because I like it.
Yeah, you've already got the regular one, so why do you need the 5G version?
Why do I need the new phone?
To have slower internet? I mean, really?
Why do I need the new phone every year? I don't. We're here for a reason, okay? This is basically
not even I would do what you were thinking. Why would you do that? You're going to use 5G that gets my upload on this. Ow! This was 2-point-something meg. Did you see that? On its 5G. It wasn't even 5GE. It was 5G.
Oh, I tested mine last night, and I got like 50 megs upload and 100 download. I mean,
I'll do it right now live. This is AT&T. All right.
I'll do it. And I'm gonna go and talk while we do that. I really like the new colors. I like that bronze color and the gray color a lot. So I thought, you know what, that would be kind of cool. Yeah, let me go and do my speed test as well.
Oh, hold on. Let me get my Wi-Fi turned off.
If I can find it through all this bloatware.
All
right, I'll race you. 5G.
Mine still hasn't found the server. Oh, here we go. You ready? Oh, look at that. What's going on? It's quicker at the house.
Oh, there we go. Oh, I'm almost to 100. And come on, break 100. Yeah, I mean, I'm fairly well happy enough with it. There we go. That's pretty good for upload speeds.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh goodness. So yeah, like basically 90 down and 40 up. I mean, I'm happy with that out of a $599 phone.
There's my test at work.
Oh goodness. So yeah, I really like the colors. I think it's just the thing is this phone, regardless of whatever phone I'm going to pick up, I'm going to keep using the Z Flip because I like it so much. And it's funny, before I got the Velvet, I've actually been using the Z Flip and the iPhone 8 Plus. So I'm not using like the iPhone. I'm like 2 generations behind, but totally like it. $299. I got a good deal.
Anyone want to buy an iPhone? What's that case you've got on your? Shut up. What's that case you got on your Velvet?
So the case that they gave me for my Velvet, let me find the right phone here. It looks like kind of like snakeskin on the back here, but it's a wallet case.
See, mine's red, white, and blue instead.
Yeah, I love the way this camera looks. The way the camera looks with this raindrop design. I think it looks cool. What's nice is the big camera, the 48 megapixel, is the only one that actually protrudes. The other 3 are the LED, the sensor, and the wide angle are flush. Mm-hmm. And I'm a little disappointed in the beginning. I thought that it was going to be 3 legitimate cameras. I thought it was going to be a telephoto, but they went ahead and they cheaped out and they just went with the wide angle again. But LG, I mean, they kind of started the whole wide angle thing back with the LG G5. So, I mean, I understand. All right. So, Dan's running away very, very slow. So, yeah, I believe the LG G5 is when they first came out with the wide angle camera. So, I expect them to have that. And I knew with the V60, they only put the wide angle. I was kind of hoping for the telephoto, but at the same point in time, the digital ones work pretty good. And when I did my camera test on the LG V60, I was pretty impressed with like the 2 to 5 times zoom. So I guess they've got it good enough with the way that the cameras work now where they feel that they don't need one. But it's funny when you look at the different spectrums when it comes to phones. Like if you look at Google, they got 2 cameras, but they went with the regular shooter and then the telephoto and opted not to do a wide angle. And LG says, we don't need a telephoto. We're going to go all wide angle. and the regular camera. So I don't know. One thing, actually, I'll wait for Dan to get back to talk about this. We can go back and forth with the whole. We can talk about the Velvet. But the thing with the Velvet, he's doing something with stuff he has over there.
No. I was just grabbing that. See?
Oh, I like that. That looks like a motorcycle. It looks like a motorcycle jacket to me with like the different tones of leather.
I thought it was cool. Yeah, there you go. That's one I got with mine. Same as yours, just different colors. I
like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy. Lions Man here. He finally got his Z Flip that showed up today. And hey, Mal, welcome to the show. So he got his Z Flip today, and he's saying that his complaint is that the one single downward firing speaker. And I got to say that is a complaint that I have. It's not the end of the world. If I had paid full price for this and not traded for it, then I would probably have been a little more upset if I paid $1,400 for a phone. And I was like, hey, it only has one downward firing speaker and it's not overly loud. I like, it's nice. Most phones nowadays have stereo speakers. So just having the one and then it being kind of like 80% volume of like the iPhone and the Galaxy, it's a little on the disappointing side, but I mean, it works well enough. And I kind of understand because they're trying to conserve battery. But that's weird to me now that they doubled down with the 865 and the 5G and the 3,300 milliamp battery that's going to be dead by lunchtime. Not really, but it's not going to be great. All right, Fox Tech, thanks for stopping by. Have a good night.
Later. Drew, just to touch on what you said there is a lot of bloat that comes on this, but
a lot.
Yeah, but you can disable it all. So that's everything on mine. That's the app drawer. That's everything. That's all that's on mine now, apart from these LG Essentials. But all the AT&T stuff, I could force stop and disable, which I was quite happy with.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in my review. I remember I used to be with AT&T like 7 years ago, a long time ago. Actually, the last time I was with them was when the BlackBerry Priv came out, and I switched to AT&T just so I could use the phone because it was carrier locked. So I switched to AT&T, and they, of course, I always hated that AT&T put a bunch of bloatware on there, but this is like next level. And I spent a lot of time today deleting individual apps, and I haven't gone in and stopped the other AT&T garbage. But holy cow, I put a tweet about this earlier, and it's just asinine to me how much bloatware that they put on this thing. It's insane. How do they expect people to enjoy their phone? Go ahead.
They geared us up for it, though. Did you see the email that went into every carrier puts their own apps on there? They geared us up in that email to get bombarded with crap. So
as soon as I saw the email that had the little paragraph underneath the announcement with the carriers controlling the preloaded software, my mind was already primed, expecting a bunch of.
Yeah, as soon as I read that, I was like, "Oh no!"
I'm not going to talk about that in the video, but in the video, I am going to talk about the massive amount of bloatware that it has on it. Of course, Verizon's going to be just as bad, and then when the T-Mobile version comes out, it won't be too bad.
They won't be bad, T-Mobile. Like Drew says, T-Mobile don't really put bloat on the phones. They just put their own. Is it 3 or 4 apps? And that's usually about it. And you can get rid of most of them.
I want to know why I have a Walmart and a Booking.com and like a slot machine, like a Monopoly slot machine game. There's like all sorts of trash on here. I would never in a million years think would be something that you would think would be essential to put on a phone.
And it's not even the full apps. All it is a shortcut for you to download it.
Yeah. It's so stupid. So they really annoyed me with that. But it is what it is. I mean, it's not LG's fault. I mean, they've got to make the deals with the carriers so that they can get them on the shelves, and then the carriers decide what bloatware they put on there. So if you want to get a pitchfork and go after somebody, that's an AT&T.
Carriers. Yeah.
It's not an LG thing. But I'm going to talk about it and also talk about how to go in and stop things.
You know what else I hate about AT&T? And I don't know whether anyone else does this. You probably know what I'm going to say. But I hate the Death Star on the back of the phone.
Yeah.
Why do AT&T insist on that?
Because they want you to know. They want to put their tramp stamp on it. They want everybody to know that phone is AT&T property.
It's so annoying. I mean,
Drew, have a good night.
Why would you do that?
Yeah. It is annoying, but I got to say, now that you're back at the chair, I am really impressed with the Velvet. And I thought it was going to be from the get-go. I think the V60 was a good primer, especially with the price point that it came in with. And then kind of some of the changes and seeing this already come out over in South Korea and some international markets in the spring, I've been really excited about it, and now having it in hand, I was talking to you, but I was talking to my wife at dinner and telling her, this is the first time, like the first time. I mean, I got to say the TCL 10 Pro really makes that mid-tier phone feel like it's not a mid-tier phone.
Yes.
This one is more refined than the TCL 10 Pro. It feels like a $900, $800 phone, and it runs just like one. This 765 blows that 675 out of the water, and it's really impressive.
Absolutely. I'm carrying around right now my two main phones. I've got an iPhone, obviously, but my two main phones right now are the Velvet and the V60. I'm carrying around purposely to see if I notice any difference. I don't notice any difference other than this is slimmer, easier to use, and the case isn't as chunky.
It's so light, and it's funny. It's funny. I did not expect in a million years to have this problem. I had this problem a little bit with the TCL 10 Pro, but do you notice whenever it's so thin that when you're trying to hold on it with one hand, it's hard to use when you're holding it like this?
Yep.
Because it's so thin, your fingers wrap too far around the sides.
Yep. I'm not used to it. It's just bizarre that they've gone so thin with the phone and the screen. Does the screen wrap down further than what it normally would? Because like the buttons seem to be further to the back instead of in the middle.
They do a little bit. They went a little on the aggressive side with the curved edges, which I actually like. It reminds me a lot of the Note 10, except this is a little bit more sleek even than the Note 10. And if you notice up on the tops, if the Note on the Note 10, it was rounded at the top but still flat on the edges, and this one kind of is rounded off on the edges. So they went very minimalistic, very ergonomic with this thing. And it's just a beautiful phone. I like it a lot. And it's funny because, 129 grams, so 454 grams in a pound. This thing barely weighs a quarter of a pound. It is like light as air. But if you can see something right there, it's a fingerprint magnet.
If you kill anyone, don't leave your phone behind.
Yeah. If you beat somebody to death with this phone, wipe it off with a microfiber cloth before you leave. Yeah, fingerprints everywhere.
Yeah.
But I am really impressed with this 7 Series processor, and I got my first taste of the 7 Series processors. Didn't the Pixel, wasn't it like a 710 or
Nope.
Pixel
625 Pixel 3a?
I thought it was a low series. Is it a 6 Series or 7 Series?
6 Series.
That's a
675, 625, something like that.
Pixel 3a. Which one is it? Pixel 3a.
These phones, the LG, I'll show you now. These two, they're both the same size. They're both as tall as each other. But the difference between them in usability is insane because it's got to be it's about an 1/8 inch thinner, but it makes a big difference.
So it was funny. It was mind-boggling to me when I grabbed this phone and I was looking through the tech specs and saw that it was a 6.8-inch screen because it feels so much smaller than the V60. And they have the same size screen, both of them 6.8 inch. Now, I believe the aspect ratio is different on it, so it makes it a little thinner.
19 by 5 by something, is it? Yeah.
19 by 5 by 9, I think.
Yeah.
It's more cinematic. It's a little bit closer to the Sony's, but not the true 21 by 9 aspect ratio that they have. I actually like the 19 by 5 by 9.
Reminds me of the S20, holding it.
I've never actually held an S20.
It's very similar to an S20, like when you're holding the thing. So it's a good thing or a bad thing for some people. It's a nice change for once not to have, because the iPhone's a really heavy phone. The V60 is a heavy phone. The TCL was a heavy phone. It's nice to have a really lightweight phone that isn't made of plastic. So
the V60 is a heavy phone, but for its size, it feels pretty light. It feels tremendously lighter than the iPhone.
Which you say that now, but when you consider that's the same size of it and it's so much lighter than the V60.
Oh, yeah. Actually, we've got a comment here from Tobis. So what should I get, the V60 or the Velvet? Well,
Velvet.
I mean, yeah.
Velvet's got better cameras. It performs just as well, and it looks better, and it's easier to manage. And it's cheaper.
It's $599 MSRP. So, yeah, I really like this phone a lot. And I was actually surprised today. I'm going to shift this a little bit because I want to talk a little bit about the Nord. So, give it to LG, of course, with their marketing. They decided they were going to go ahead and drop this in the U.S. the day after the day after the Nord is announced, and people have known this has been coming out for weeks. It's really surprising to me why they went ahead and did this, because I was talking in my video, one of my videos. I actually have 2 unboxing videos of the same video on YouTube right now with different thumbnails, because I launched one last night and I made a mistake and I accidentally said in my video that the Velvet didn't have wireless charging. It does have wireless charging, of course. And I went into YouTube Creator Studio to edit it, which I've done before, just to clip out that tiny little 2-second section. And then apparently YouTube's been having processing issues. And I was so mad because that video is actually the best performing video that I've had here in the last couple of weeks. In like 10 hours, not even 10 hours, in like 7 hours, it was right on the cusp of 1,000 views. And whenever my views are usually down, it was going up. So I thought for sure that I got a gold mine with it. It was going good. I went ahead and I made that edit, and it froze the entire video for 16 hours. Mm-hmm. So I woke up this morning to a dead video, and I went ahead and I re-uploaded this morning along with my other simultaneous Velvet video that I shot last night as well, to talk a little bit about the aesthetics and the design. So it finally started working. So I've just got both of them sitting out there with different thumbnails right now. But yeah, it was crazy to me looking on Twitter, looking on YouTube, looking all over the place. And yesterday it was OnePlus. The only people that were talking about the Velvet were like the handful of reviewers that got one.
Yeah.
And then today, I don't even know. I think I saw one tweet from somebody who was an LG saying, "Oh, available on AT&T today."
Yeah.
So I don't know what their strategy is, and at this point, I'm glad that they're making some better phones. They're pricing them better. They're making them look better, and they're giving us some really good value. But at the same time, I'm like, come on, guys! Like, here's $25. Run a Google ad or something. I don't know what they're doing, but I'm glad that they're changing to make better phones. So the Nord, I'm going to have to try and get my hands on one. But surprise today, originally they were saying not going to come to the U.S., not going to come to the U.S., not going to come to the U.S.
They're still not coming to the U.S. I don't care what you say.
I thought it said it was coming to the U.S.
No, 50 of them are coming to the U.S.
Well, yeah, 50 of them are going. Yeah,
that's it. The actual phone isn't coming to the US.
I think they'll come to the US after that.
You want to know why? Because they'll absolutely butcher the sales of the OnePlus 8.
Well, I don't think. Yeah, they need to get rid of the OnePlus 8 because it's trash. Mm-hmm. If they need to have the OnePlus Nord at $400, and they need to have the OnePlus 8 Pro and lower the price. Because
this would be next year's strategy, I would imagine, for the United States. A low-end phone, high-end phone, not this mid-range, because it's not quite mid-range, but it's not quite flagship, the OnePlus 8. It's just sort of, it's a pointless phone. It's pointless, though. If you had a OnePlus 7 Pro, why would you change to a OnePlus 8? It's just like a really odd phone.
If they didn't release the Pro and just came out with the 8, it would have made sense. If they released the 8 Pro, they shouldn't have released the 8, and then they've got the Nord, which would have been a gold mine because they still sold it. They could have sold it here. People would buy it, but that wouldn't undercut the sales of the 8 Pro because it's in a different category. That's like saying the OnePlus SE competes directly with the iPhone 11 Pro Max. It just doesn't. So the 8 Pro, they kind of fight for sales. So if you brought in another true mid-ranger as opposed to the like bare bones flagship, specs, then yeah, it would definitely undercut it. But I am interested in it, and I dropped my name in the hat.
Yeah, me too. I did the same thing. I mean, I would, if I could get hold of one without having to pay an import premium, no problem. People also need to, I keep seeing on Twitter, everybody's saying this phone is $399. It is not $399 because it's not coming out over here. No one knows what the price would be if it was coming out in the United States. I saw it yesterday. Somebody was comparing the LG Velvet to the $399 Nord. You're wrong. You can't do that. You don't know how much it's going to be. I don't think it'd be $399.
Well, here's the thing. We're going to pay the premium prices over here. Because when you look at it, hey, Jeff, welcome. Welcome aboard. So, yeah, if you look at the Nord, if you look at the pricing strategy with the other OnePlus devices in, like, India.
What's up, Dave?
they're like $200 cheaper than they are over here. So if it's $399 American conversion in India, I would expect that the Nord will probably be $479 here.
That's what I'm thinking.
That would be and it would still be a good deal at $479. But yes, it would be competing directly with their OnePlus 8, and they don't want to do that, especially with the new devices coming out. But the most important thing is I really like that they're getting the 765 chipset out on the market, because the 7 series, I've been saying for a long time, especially talking about the idea of a new BlackBerry. Of course, yeah, we're probably not going to get one. But over the last year or so, I was like, look, I don't need an 8 series processor. If they would just get a 7 series processor and put it in a BlackBerry and give me a keyboard, I would use that phone for 4 years.
Yeah.
It would be so good. So I doubt that we're going to see that once the licensing agreement ends with TCL. They're probably going to go away for a couple of years until somebody can crowdsource and build another phone, or somebody makes a good clone. But yeah, the 7 series processors I've been real keen on for a while, and I'm happy now that they're starting to go mainstream. So you get a lot of power. You're going to get the 5G. You get good battery life, and plus it's great. See, the 6 series processors are good, but they don't have the horsepower that the 7 series does, or the 8. So like the Pixel 3a, it didn't feel sluggish in operation, but when you were taking pictures, especially ones that required processing, sometimes it would take about 3 seconds for the processor to go ahead and render the image. If you have a 7 series processor, you're going to have a substantially decreased processing time, and you still get more bang for the buck, and you get more zip. And a lot of stuff, like when you see those every once in a while, it kind of stutters, or you have some issues. You don't really have that with the 7 series, because it's like basically Snapdragon 845 speed almost.
Even the 725, you don't get any of that. The lower end version of it, the non-5G, it's fine. Absolutely flies. Fantastic.
Yeah. So I like it. I think it's the best thing that's happened to the mid-tier sector since the mid-tier sector came about.
Yeah. I have no problem using a 7 series. I am really looking forward to the 4A now. Seeing how the 765 works in the Velvet, it should be really interesting when it comes to the Pixel, seeing as that's what it's supposedly using. So,
yeah, and if my thing is, they better do something with the price with the Pixel. If this new Pixel 5 that they're rumored to come out with comes out at like the $599 price point, that sucker is going to sell. It's going to move. See, Pixel has built their reputation on the amazing camera, but the problem here is that they've been selling them for too much money. They sell them for too much money, and then, of course, the battery life sucks in basically all of them. But if they could find a way to maximize the battery life with this 765 chipset, give us a brighter screen, and sell it at not $899, then I think a lot of people would be willing to pick one up.
Pixel might have a problem with the old camera monopoly soon. Did you see that yesterday about the guy going to Adobe to make a universal camera for every phone?
And that's finally what's going to make a lot of these Androids a lot more marketable. We need a universal camera app. Now, you can get these cameras, and the underlying sensors, the cameras, all the sorts of stuff in them is typically fairly decent, but it's held back by their crap stock, their crap camera apps. So like you look at a OnePlus, or you look at like the Essential phone when it came out, or you look at some of the other phones, whenever you put Gcam on them, or like the TCL one is pretty good, but I mean, you put Gcam on some of these phones, and it's like a night and day difference. So if this guy works with Adobe and they can make a legitimate camera app to go on all these different phones, then that's going to revolutionize some phone camera capabilities.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you got to wonder what Google thinks about that. Surely there's got to be some proprietary software that he can't use in that app. There's got to be. So he's going to have to build it again from scratch. But makes it very interesting that, I'm presuming these phone makers can license out the Adobe camera then and have it as their main camera, and that's available. I don't know.
Exactly. Or here's the thing. They don't necessarily have to do that. But if they can make a third-party camera app that you can install without having to go through the rigmarole of a Gcam, and you can pay $299 to buy this camera app, and it's instantaneously going to make your camera better, I would buy it in a heartbeat.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt.
Because a lot of people,
I could see people licensing it, carriers licensing it, phone companies who make the phones, OEMs. I can see them licensing it, no doubt.
I could totally see that. And yeah, Dave up here says, yeah, he knows what we're talking about with the Pixel 3a. Yeah, especially you get some nighttime photos, you get some big landscape photos. They can take a minute to process. And Jeff hits the nail on the head here. We live in exciting times for tech. This is a great time where people can be really excited about phones because we're at the point where you don't have to spend $1,100 to get a really good phone.
Yep.
And I remember for years, I've never been rich, and I certainly wasn't back in the day. I remember my first paycheck in the military was like $600 after tax. I mean, like 20 years ago. When these new phones came out, like I could never afford the original Motorola Razr. That's why I never had one. Like I could never afford the iPhone, which is why I didn't get one until like the iPhone 3G came out, and I got like the 2-year upgrade from my BlackBerry that I've been using. So being able to walk into a store now and you find something like the LG Velvet, or you see something like the upcoming Pixel, you get these really good name brand phones that have excellent pricing on them that make them much more affordable, and you're not getting trash. I went through so many phones over the years where it's like, well, I'll get this one. Well, I'll get this one. You're grabbing the one off of the side shelf, or when you walk into T-Mobile, the one on the back wall, as opposed to the one that has all of these displays. And it's like, yeah, it looks nice. It's got some name nobody recognizes because they all have iPhone. Yeah, the camera quality is okay if you use some filters, or yeah, it's got 2 or 3 gigs of RAM, but it's okay if you use an app killer. All of these times and these terrible things we went through with phones is finally being pushed out of the way, and we're just getting nice phone experiences for prices. What is that?
Did you pre-order one?
Huh?
The Motorola Edge 5G, $500. You get $200. If you pre-order it unlocked, it's $499.
What is it again? The Motorola?
The Edge, but the 5G version with the 7 Series processor in it.
Oh yeah, the Edge, not the Edge Plus.
Yeah,
I really like the
5G.
Edge Plus. I really wanted the Edge Plus, and it's one of those things where I finally got a PR contact with Motorola, and I asked like 5 times over the course of like 3 months, and then they're like, yeah, we're just don't have one right now. Yeah, we don't have one right now. We'll keep you on our list, which of course never turned any. That's like the language. If you ever reach out to PR people and they say, we'll reach out to you, or we'll put you on the list, or we'll let you know when something comes available, that means you're never going to get anything. That's basically what that means.
This sounds really impressive at $499 when you think it's got the 765 still, 256 gig of storage, and they put in all the cameras on the back: macro, telephoto, wide angle, and your main sensor.
As long as it's not a crap telephoto. I'm not crap telephoto, crap macro. And those, I'm sorry, but those low megapixel macro camera lenses are just not that great. I mean, they're nice. As long as you get at least a 5, they're okay. But those like 2 megapixel ones, it's like, why you even put it on here? Hey, Eddie,
high refresh rate. It's got a high refresh rate screen as well, 90 hertz screen on it. I think that sounds really promising. The only thing I don't like about the Motorola phones is now they've gone away from Android One. They're only promising one update, and that's it.
Yeah, they're probably just playing the wait and see. Yeah, I wanted to say one thing though. I was talking to you last night whenever I was shooting that video. So I finally, if any of y'all saw it today, I shot my very first video with my new Sony camera. It's up right now. It's the LG finally got it right video, if you want to watch that. But you can see I finally shot a video with my camera. Now, that was the talking head primary, the A roll. I did the B roll with the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra. And with the lighting in here, as opposed to the lighting that I was using in my living room before that was much more open, a lot more white light, in here, I was able to take some really good B-roll shots. And the thing is the S20 Ultra does not like bright light. It does not like shiny things. It sends it into like a tizzy. It just messes it all up. It starts getting all jittery. I only had that problem like 2 times that I tried to shoot all of that B-roll last night. They've finally done enough software updates to the S20 Ultra that it's usable. It's not great, but it has come a long way from where it was when the phone came out.
Okay.
All right, you're gonna say
yeah, well, no, but I'm just going to jump onto that Motorola again. When you look at the specs, I don't know whether you've seen it. At $499, that phone looks like a better purchase than the OnePlus Nord. It really does. 4,500 milliamp hour battery in it. It's got the 64 megapixel main sensor, 90 hertz refresh rate. I don't know. I just think it looks great.
Oh, that purple color too. Oh, hold on. Let me see it. I'm terrible at using StreamYard. I almost paid for the upgrade subscription today. Let me see. Share screen. Chrome tab. Here we go. Motorola Edge. Let's take a look at this. Can you see this, Dan?
Yeah.
All right. So here we are with the Motorola Edge. And yeah, originally announced $699 price tag. They're going to be offering it for $499. Not clear how long the display is going to be, but here's where we get to the good stuff. 6.7-inch Edge display, Snapdragon 765, 6 gigabytes of RAM. And here, remind me, I want to talk about that in a minute. 4,500 milliamp battery, no wireless charging, which I'm actually okay with.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. And it features 256 gigs of storage, a 64 megapixel primary shooter, 108 megapixel sensor.
No, it's instead of 108, which I'm happy with again as well. So
yeah, 64. Sorry, the Edge Plus has 108. It also, it has 5G. Man, that's seriously impressive for $499. And Motorola is actually
good looking phone too.
See, I love this color, and especially when they announced the Edge Plus and they had this color showing on it. Mm-hmm. I wanted one so bad, and I almost bought one, but the problem is that it was carrier locked to Verizon. They didn't have an unlocked model. So I was not going to buy a Verizon phone without having a Verizon phone plan. But I really, really, really wanted the Edge Plus, and I'm hoping at some point in time I can get my hands on one. But man, my wife would kill me if I went ahead and ordered this. But I really do want it. Now that you showed this to me, I'm like, crap. What can I sell? Mm-hmm. I can sell something to get this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right now,
I pre-ordered one.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, that's why I brought it up, because it just seems too much value.
We're talking. You probably pre-ordered the sucker live while we're talking on the show.
I did it this afternoon while I was sat there crying my own little salty tears, not being very well. Like, oh, okay. I think that $499 is phenomenal value. It looks it anyway.
Yeah, Adam needs to put on. Yeah, my brain is fried, man. Today, I've had the longest work week this week, and it has been absolutely terrible. Work is killing me right now. It's been so busy with all the stuff that's going on here. But yeah, I do like the phone a lot. I like the 765 chipset, and it'll be interesting to see what happens moving forward. But I was just telling you the other day, it's been a really long lull for the last couple of months with whenever it comes to phones. After the Samsung in April, we never got the Pixel, and everything just kind of dropped off. And now it's like pretty much getting close to firing on all cylinders again. Here we have 3 phone launches this week already, and then 2 weeks, so basically 4. Like I said, we got the Velvet, we got the Nord, we got the Z Flip 5G, and the Republic of Gaming 3 phone, all the first 3 days of this week.
Yep.
And now we're still kind of on the eve. Any day, whenever we can expect some information on the Pixel. And 2 weeks from now, we've got the Unpacked event, which pretty much kicks off everything. I mean, it's going to be Techtober before we even know it.
Absolutely.
It's telling me
it's going to be crazy. Back into this year is going to be crazy with everything, trying to get everything out. Because then like you say, you've got all the notes and you got the folds, then you're going to have the Pixels, and then do LG release a phone at the end of the year? Oh, it's the beginning of the year. They do the
Yeah, LG does the beginning of the year, but theirs has been kind of messed up. In between, they're usually between February and April. It just depends on when they actually put it out. But I think that the V60 got pushed back this year just because of all the stuff that had happened. So I kind of expected to see it a little bit sooner than we did. But yeah, we'll see. It's certainly going to be interesting for sure. And I guess we could probably talk about the Unpacked event for a minute, because that's coming right around the corner on August the 5th.
Yes. Yeah, is that really early compared to normal, or is it? I can't remember. Have they been they've been moving it forward each time, right? A couple of weeks.
I think last year it was like August the 8th.
Oh, really?
Yeah, let me see. Unpacked, August 2019. I think it was August 7th. So yeah, we're pretty well on time schedule. I think they just adjusted it because, of course, the weekend it'll drop back a day or two. So that's probably what day of the week is August 7th? Is that a Tuesday?
Hold on, I'll grab my other phone.
I don't even know where to find the calendar on the stupid Mac computer. And I even opened it. The 5th is a Wednesday, so right smack dab in the middle of the week. Actually, that's going to be exciting because we'll have our show next week on 2 weeks from now on Wednesday, and then we can talk about the Unpacked event for that show. So that actually lines up really, really well. I like that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Unpacked. I'm looking forward to the Unpacked event, but I'm not neither because I've just got a feeling everything is going to be so highly priced.
I have a feeling that you're right too. And I've had that same feeling. And we've already looked at this. So we've got the Z Flip. It's already bumped up in price to $1,449. The S20 series was already the most expensive that Samsung has ever pushed out a device lineup. Now we're on the eve of the Note series. And my guess is that it's going to be depressingly expensive as well. And especially when you look at the Ultra model, because, I mean, that's the phone that we look at. I mean, I'm not going to buy the regular Note. I'm going to get the Max model if I get one. Not Max, just the most maxed out model.
Yeah.
So my guess is it's going to be at least $1,299 for the Note, but I wouldn't be surprised if they went $1,399, just like...
I wouldn't be shocked. Yeah. Just like the other one. I would not be shocked at all.
And then
I will buy it this year. I will not buy it. I don't. The Note 20 I will not get for this year because I've just got a feeling.
It's one of those things. I don't use the S Pen. The only reason I've ever used the Samsung phones, and you know this, we've talked about it before, is because I use the cameras on their phones. But now that I have my Sony camera, I have my studio set up, and I don't have to use my Galaxy phone for my A-roll anymore, then I don't really have a reason to get it. The only one that I was kind of interested in was the Z Flip 5G because I really like the colors, and I was hoping there was a rumor that there was going to be a camera upgrade, but it doesn't look like it's getting the camera upgrade. Still not going to have 90 hertz, no improvement in the battery. It's just 5G essentially. It's going to be the exact same day-to-day performance. I don't see the point in spending $1,449 so I can get a different color phone, you know?
Yep, I'm with you on that. I don't see why. It's just I'm not impressed by that Z Flip 5G. I thought they may have done something, maybe put a bit of a bigger screen on it, so you could see more of your notifications and everything. But
yeah, I had hoped for that too. Maybe by the time they get the next Z Flip, that would be nice because if you look at the Razr actually has a really nice screen on the outside that you can do more things with than just dismiss an alarm or see the name of the person that texts you. So I would like to see a larger screen, and I think that they'll head that direction. This one just feels kind of like a ripoff to me so that they can say they have a 5G model and try and get some more people to buy it because it'll be – see, they're releasing the Z Flip and the Fold very close in proximity to each other. I guess maybe they're hoping that they can get somebody to buy one or the other maybe. I don't really know what their strategy is, but I'm not feeling it this year.
No, I'm not either. I don't know. I think Samsung, I'm not going to say they're losing it. Excuse me. But how can I say? It's like they've lost a bit of grasp of what's going on this year in 2020. A bit of reality is got. They're a bit like OnePlus at the moment. They think they're up here when they've took a tumble and they've come down a little bit.
I do think that they are a little out of touch with reality. I think they're definitely looking at things the wrong way, and Apple is looking at things the right way. Apple is giving people a lot of options come this fall, and there's going to be a lot of different price points, and those price points are trending downward, not upward.
Absolutely.
And I'm super excited if everything comes according to plan with that 5.4-inch iPhone. I'm going to buy that sucker. I like iPhones. I enjoy using them, but I don't like one. They weigh like 5 million pounds. It hurts my wrist. I use the iPhone 10s Max and also the 11 Pro Max, and that sucker, I have like this permanent little indention on my finger where I support the bottom of it, and my finger hurts all the time. So I just can't do it. I don't like those big, heavy phones. So if they come out with the 5.4-inch model, which is the same size as the body basically of the SE, but there's no button and the bezels, they're gone, I think that for me is probably going to be a win.
What's that battery on the iPhone 12 is trending downward also. I mean, if they stick to the same battery they're using now, the iPhone 11 battery and the Pro Max anyway is insane. Insane. I hate you, Carl. Congratulations on the baby, but I hate your guts, Candyman.
Yes, thank you very Ice Cream Man. Yeah, thank you very much for the super chat, Carl. And yeah, thanks for everybody for stopping by tonight. I mean, we're not wrapping up yet. We still got like 10 minutes, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I think for this year that iPhone has kind of won this one already. It's just a feeling I have going into the Unpacked event already, thinking like it's not exciting. There's nothing exciting to me because it's just basically the S lineup that they're going to put a stylus in and charge you just as much money for. And the innovation just to me is not there anymore when it comes to Samsung. And Samsung used to be the innovator. Like
they were the cutting edge of design on all cell phones,
especially when it came to the Note. And we've talked about this before, where things have kind of switched. Like the Note would get the new stuff, and then you would kind of see it in the S series later on. When it would come around in March, April timeframe. Now the S series gets the stuff, and then they just put the exact same crap in the Note and charge you more money for it because it has a stylus. But I am happy to see that they're putting the 865 Plus in it. At least they're going that route. I mean,
really? I mean, I've not read anything up about the 865 Plus, but is that what we talked about last week? It's going to be 30% faster than this 865?
No. It's the 865 is 30% faster than the 855. The 865 Plus is 10% faster than the 865, so it's 30% more powerful than the 855.
You are never going to see a difference.
No, you're not. The only thing, I think they're pushing the cores. The big deal between the 865 Plus and the 865 is that the prime cores are going to be clocked at 3.1 gigahertz instead of like the 2.86 or whatever in the world it is. So they're finally, with those three cores, going to break the 3 gigahertz barrier, which is crazy for a phone. You talk about a phone that has a 3.1 gigahertz processor in it. I still remember in the year 2000 when I got my very first gigahertz processor in my PC, and that was an Intel Celeron chip that I got, and I was just happy it was a gigahertz processor. I was like 1.1 gigahertz, baby.
That's what mine was, 1.1 gigahertz AMD Athlon. I was like, yes.
Then that check to the bank. I had speed, man, and I was playing Unreal Tournament, and I had back then because there were different manufacturers that made video cards back then. I had a Savage 16 megabyte. Oh man, that Voodoo. The Voodoo video cards back then were unbelievable, and they were. Oh man, I always wanted one. I didn't get one until it was like
I can't remember which one it was, but the box had flames on it. It was like a fire on the box.
I remember when they were doing such cutting edge stuff with graphics cards back then. Like, yeah, the processors were good, but they kind of capped out. Like once they got to about 600 megahertz, the AMD Athlon, the K62s came out. The 686 processors were kind of maxed out then for a little while until they broke the barrier and got to those gigahertz chips. They were really doing a lot of good things with video cards back then. And back then, I remember whenever Doom 3 came out, I went and I dropped $600 to buy that, what was it, the 680, the GeForce 680?
680, yeah.
Oh, man. And that thing.
I had one of them at one time. It had a big, it was like neon pink fan on top of it. It was the ugliest thing in the world. It was like, what?
Oh, goodness, man. Yeah, I remember when I came back from deployment, it was in 2006. I went to Iraq for 6 months, and I came back and I built myself like an amazing gaming PC. I put two of the GeForce 8800 GTXs in them. Two. I had like a 1300 watt power supply. So it was like a $2,800 computer, and like the two video cards and the power supply was like $1,500 the computer. But I tell you what, I use that computer. I'm still using that case today. I bought that case in 2006. I'm still using it.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty cool though, because you'd think that you wouldn't be able to get the motherboard size to fit in it anymore.
Yeah, I'm still using a regular ATX board. They haven't changed that stuff. So
yeah, it's all the same. Yeah,
it's just crazy, man. Things have changed so much. And we're talking about this older stuff, and there's a point. I mean, because the logical progression of the phone has followed where the computer has been. Oh. And it's ridiculous that something that used to be the size of weigh 30 pounds under my desk is now on a phone this big.
Yeah, it's insane. And price, when it comes to gaming computers as well, has come down a hell of a lot.
Oh, tremendously, man. You can go. Yeah.
Like I just got that thing I just got now. Don't get me wrong. It's not cutting edge, but for 1080p gaming, it's going to be absolutely fine. And it was under $1,000.
Oh, actually, here, Ronald Collins hits this one on the head. Played MechWarrior 2 and 3. Man, I played MechWarrior 2 and 3. I played the crap out of MechWarrior 2. You know, I've got a video that I've been planning on making. It's probably going to get like 50 views. I just did this Sega Dreamcast unboxing here recently. I got my Sega Saturn. I've had this sucker for like 25 years. I have MechWarrior 2 for it. And whenever I get around to making this video, I will showcase MechWarrior 2 on my Saturn. And that game was amazing.
You need to buy the controller for it.
Dude, I got in so much trouble over MechWarrior 2 because back then we had a 75 megahertz Pentium PC. It had a 586 in it. Our hard drive was only 540 megabytes, which was really big for 1995. I mean, that was a huge hard drive back then. Well, to do the full install of MechWarrior 2, and funny, I actually had to buy a better CD-ROM because I had a 4x speed CD-ROM and it wasn't powerful. I needed at least an 8. So I had to save up most of my yards to get a 12-speed CD-ROM. Some people understand this. And I installed MechWarrior 2. Well, you could install it where it would run off the CD, which was like the 50 meg install option. Then you had it'll run the game off this hard drive, but only the cinematics on the CD, which was like the 200 meg install. And then there was the 450 meg install, which installed everything onto the hard drive. My dad came home. I had deleted everything off that computer but Windows. And we had like 18 megabytes left on the hard drive after I installed it. He was so mad at me. He sat there and made me delete the game off the computer, forbid me from installing any video games on the computer without permission again. And then I got grounded from the computer for 2 weeks. I deleted Microsoft Word. I deleted everything so I could do the full. I was like, I did it. 450 megs.
Was it MechWarrior 3 that came out? I'm sure it was like a 250 in England. It was either 200 pounds or 250 pounds, and it was a dual joystick MechWarrior controller basically, and it was like a full base. You could sit with it on your lap. That thing was insane. I mean, the price that was back then as well, and people were flocking for it. They loved it.
Oh, you couldn't find them; they were always sold out. Like I wanted them.
They were so expensive, but they were like gold dust.
Oh man, I loved MechWarrior. I played MechWarrior and then MechWarrior Mercenaries, and then we even played like the tabletop game. Me and some of my buddies, we would play. We like roll the dice. It was like Dungeons and Dragons or whatever. Not really. It wasn't a role playing game, but it was a tabletop strategy game, and that stuff could get really, really in depth. We would make our own mechs. We would design our own maps. I mean, it was a lot to it.
See what's rumored to be coming back on the Xbox Series X? It'll be getting shown next week, supposedly. I'm really happy about this. It's not too of an old game, but it was an old game back in the Splinter Cell.
I knew you were going to say that.
I cannot wait. The first Splinter Cell that came out was so good.
Is Michael Ironsides going to do the voice again?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's
great. Yeah, I can't wait for that, especially with the next-gen consoles. It's going to be such a big thing. So I can't wait. I can't wait for the next gen consoles. I really can't.
Yeah, answer a question here. So Michael Pepper asked how my son is doing. He's doing all right. For those of you who haven't seen on Twitter, so my wife about 4 or 5 weeks ago got the coronavirus. She's now okay. I slept on the couch for like 3 weeks. I took care of the kids. We kept her locked away in the bedroom, away from all of civilization, and I would just shovel her food under the door so she could eat every day. Nobody else got it. We have a household of 7 are here all the time. Nobody else got it. We were finally good. I sent my kids off to their mom's house to go over there for the month during the summer, which is what they do. A week after they go over there, I get a phone call from their mom because she has a fever and she's sick. And I was like, crap, well, I'm going to go get the kids right now and bring them back and just hope that just because you just got sick that maybe they won't get it. I went over there and got my son that night, and she neglected to tell me that he was already starting to get sick. So he's okay. He's not having any complications. He's probably on like day 5 of being sick now, but no fever, hardly any cough at all, mostly just kind of sinus congestion and feeling, crappy. But he's not like the beat down sick where, you just feel like you're like crummy. Like his spirits are high and he's still got his normal kind of energy level. So he's been okay. I think the worst part of this is the fact that he was taking an online course for the summer that he was behind on, and now he's sick and having to do all of it before the class ends. So that's probably more painful. But yeah, it was bad enough doing Spanish during the summer, but now having to do Spanish and being sick at the same time and locked in your room. If you're watching this, son, I don't feel sorry for you. You did it yourself.
I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry because you have to watch. Not only have you got coronavirus, but you have to look at your dad in a V-neck T-shirt that comes all the way. I feel terrible for you, son. All right.
That is good. So yeah, thank you for asking, Michael. And then there was one thing I wanted to address real quick. Somebody I saw a minute ago asked about thoughts on the Republic of Gaming 3 phone. I have been thinking about making a video for a little while talking about our gaming phones dead, because when you've got so many of these flagship mainstream phones that are coming out with the same processors that have similar refresh rates, that have all the bells and whistles of a gaming phone, what advantage are you getting out of a gaming phone? And I think that Razer kind of got into it a little bit late, but with Razer and Republic of Gaming, Asus, when those phones, the first ones came out, they were cool, but the other phones were already catching up with them so much that it's like, why is there a necessity for this? Why are you buying a gaming phone? What is that?
That's Lions Man watching us on his Z Flip.
Very nice. Nicely played, Lions Man. Mm-hmm. So if you get all the same stuff in a normal phone, what are you getting out of a gaming phone? And the only reason that I give a kind of a leg up a little bit and say, okay, I give a tip, a nod of the hat to the Republic of Gaming phones, is because they have that attachment where you can plug it into a LAN cable for your internet, for that little box. So, I mean, if you can do that, though, what's the point? I mean, you can just get on a regular console.
Yeah,
so,
why?
Talking about esports, and this was actually a topic in the Tech Fights a little while ago, talking about refresh rates and stuff. Mobile gaming has exploded over the last couple of years. You've now got PUBG on your phone. You've got World of Warships. You've got Fortnite. You've got Call of Duty Mobile.
120 frames a second Fortnite as well. What?
That's crazy. So talking about these things in video gaming, it's not exclusive, the performance, to the gaming phone. So I don't really see that they're necessary, but I appreciate them being there, because the more that we have when it comes to these different phones, you have more options, you have better prices, you have good competition. And here's the thing. Yes, you can go out and buy an HP laptop. You can go buy a Dell laptop. You can go buy a Lenovo Legion laptop. But there are people that still want to pay for Alienwares. There's still people that want to buy the Republic of Gaming and the Razer laptop. So I don't think that you're getting a lot of competitive advantage when it comes to buying a gaming phone. But the suckers sure look cool. And they're still not as expensive as some of the top tier other phones.
And this is what I was just going to mention. I had one. And it would have been amazing, this phone. It would have been the best phone of this year if it wasn't for the software on it. That Red Magic Nubia 5G was amazing. The screen on it was fantastic. It went up to 144 hertz, if I remember rightly. Just everything was quality on that phone. The build quality, the lighting on it, the screen, the sound was phenomenal out of it. But then, obviously, it had software that was cobbled together by, like, me and you on a weekend. So kind of killed it. And I think that's the problem with a lot of gaming phones. I don't think the software is quite there for everyday use, because they're obviously geared to go that way. Whereas if they could just dial it back, that had a button on it that you pressed and you went into the Red Magic mode or something. And turbo mode. And that was a good idea. It was a great idea, but the everyday software was just pants. And it's such a shame because that phone was less than $600, brand new at launch. It was such a good value.
Yeah, there's actually another question here. It says from Retethered, can't you just buy a cheap gaming laptop and a used decent phone for the same price? Yeah, I mean, you can, but then you get into other issues that, like, what kind of condition is it in? Is it going to be able to play at the level that you want to play at? For instance, you can go pick up an Acer Nitro 5 laptop for about $699, which is decent. You can get 8 gigabytes of RAM. You can get like a 1 terabyte hard drive or a 256 SSD. You can get, it typically comes with like a GeForce 1660 Ti Max Q, something similar to that.
It's $650.
Yeah.
Hell no, not for a 1660 Ti. 1650 Ti, not 1660.
Sorry, 1650. Yeah, you got to pay about $800 to get the 1660 Ti.
More than that, I've been looking at it. It's like 900 to 1,000 for a 1660 Ti. If you want the basic 1660, you can get it for about 850.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, whenever I've got that Asus that I paid like $1149 or $1049 during the holidays last season. But I showed it to you before because it would drop to like $949 or something like that. But that's 16 gigabytes, faster refresh rate. If you get these Nitro 5s, you're getting a 60 hertz display. They get hot as crap.
Yeah.
They do. The keyboards, they get hot. But you can play most games 1080p at about 90 frames per second, which most people are pretty happy with. As long as it's over 60, you're good. So, yes, you can get a $700 laptop and you can get a $200 or $300 phone for about the same price. But you're not going to be on the cutting edge of gaming. You're not going to have the best phone in the world. You're going to have some give and take there. So, I mean, it's possible. Whenever you look at 2-year-old technology, or you look at some of those budget things that attach the word gaming to them, they're very good for a lot of people, and they're decent at what they do in most regards, but it's not quite on the same level.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can make do with certain devices, but making do isn't always good enough for a lot of people, so.
Yeah, like for me, that wouldn't be anything I'd be interested in. But for somebody who just wants something so they can get their foot in the door, and that's good enough for them, they want something they can use for work, but also for gaming. They don't want to spend too much money. Those $699, $750 laptops are pretty darn good. And then you have phone options now, like the TCL 10L, which is a $200 phone that is brand new, has some pretty decent cameras, and it doesn't feel like a cheap phone. I mean, it's legitimately a really good phone for $250.
Mm-hmm. I was shocked how good that was. Screen on that thing's fantastic. Considering it could do with getting a bit more brighter, but other than that, that is such a good deal. And I don't know whether you've seen when we were speaking about these before they came out, and I said they'll end up giving you free TVs if you buy one, or you'll get a free film with a TV.
Oh, yeah,
they're doing that
conversation before the phones even
have it. Yeah, well, they're doing it in Canada, so you get a free TV with a TCL 10L or a 10 Pro, one of them. So.
And we still got the TCL 10 5G that's going to be coming out later this year too.
Well, that is just the TCL 10L, right, with 5G strapped to it.
I don't think it's the L. I think it's the 10, but it has 5G, but it has like a fingerprint. I don't remember. I'd have to look and see. There was no spec information on that whenever I saw it at CES, and I haven't really looked into it since then. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be coming too. So, and it's supposed to be under $500. I would imagine it's probably not going to be the same specs as the 10L though. I don't think so.
Very close, if I remember. It's more 10L than 10 Pro. And Ronald, that's a good price on that MSI, but they're only $999 new if you go and buy one now. I can go to Best Buy and buy it for $999 that MSI. But that is probably the best value sub $1,000 gaming platform right now in a gaming laptop.
And definitely. The thing with gaming laptops, especially go to Best Buy, that I want to talk about for a second, and you and I were having these conversations, you have to be careful when you buy gaming PCs from Best Buy because they like to use the older series processors. Like if you're going to order something from like Razer, you're going to order something from MSI, you can order the latest and greatest. But a lot of times, especially the ones that are on sale, look at the processors that are in those computers because typically if the 10 series is out, they're going to be selling you the 8 series. Mm-hmm. So it's still a good deal. And they make really good stuff. I mean, it's, of course, the same brands that you can get straight from the manufacturer, but that's one of the things with getting them on a store shelf. They're typically not the bleeding edge of the new technology that comes out. They're selling you last year's hardware.
Yes.
So just pay attention to that if you do want to go buy one of those. But man, we ran over time a little bit today. We're at an hour and 10 minutes.
Mhm. I didn't realize. So,
it's funny because my channel revolves around mobile technology, phones, all that kind of stuff. But the most exciting thing for me has always been computers.
Same.
I have been a computer person. Like there is probably a picture of me somewhere in like training pants, putting a disk inside of a computer because we had the old 5 1/4 floppy machine. Our first computer didn't have a hard drive. Like I remember when we got our 16 color monitor with our like 20 megahertz computer that had a 20 megabyte hard drive in it. And it's ridiculous that there are everyday apps in the phone app store now that are larger in size than the hard drive in my first couple of computers. It's just mind-boggling to me.
Crazy.
So, yeah, I've always been a computer person. I mean, I started building computers. I built my first computer when I was like 11, 12 years old with some parts that a friend of mine that I used to mow his lawn at church. I would mow his yard, and he would be like, here's an old 190 meg hard drive. Here's a 8-speed CD-ROM. Here's a cheap graphics card. And I started putting my stuff together out of necessity, mostly because we had 9 of us, 11 of us in the same house, 9 kids using the same one computer. And I wanted to be able to get on my own computer when I wanted to. But of course, we couldn't afford them because they were so expensive. So I put it together. And yeah, just nowadays where we're at, I get excited about phones and stuff, but the actual underlying hardware stuff, I have a soft spot in my heart for computer stuff, even though I don't make videos on it.
See, I don't bring it up much because a lot of people don't like that side of the nerdiness, but the next generation of GPUs that come out are so exciting. They're going to be so much more powerful because they're not going to be held back by previous gen consoles. This next gen of GPUs for your PC, there's going to be a massive jump from going from the RTX 2 series up to the 3 series. It's going to be huge.
Oh, yeah. They're saying that it's going to be like crazy more powerful.
Yeah.
Like, I think we're talking like 40% improvement.
Massive numbers. Yeah, massive, because they don't get held back anymore.
Well, the other thing, too, is that I just bought that 2080 Super a few months ago. So I'm going to be stuck with the 2080 for a little while. I'm not going to be running out to go buy a 3 series because it's funny. I've got this gaming computer, but primarily I'm on my console. So
that's how
I sit at a computer for work like 8 hours a day. And then the other 6 hours, I'm sitting here editing video and doing stuff. I don't want to be sitting here playing video games. I like being able to lay in bed, sit on my couch, sit in my recliner. And consoles are just convenient. That's why I like it.
I play I've just got this gaming PC now, and I will probably play one game on it a month, and that'll be about it. It's now going to sit here and be used for because I'm fully sold on DaVinci Resolve after last night, and that's what it's going to be now. It's my DaVinci Resolve setup, and that's it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out, especially because of the things you can do for free.
Yeah, I mean, I am well impressed with it. And when you first set it up, it asks you if you've used any of these programs before, like Final Cut or Adobe. So you hit Final Cut, and it sets it up like Final Cut. The view is just like it. Yeah, it's really familiar. Not the same, but familiar. So there's nothing special, Michael. It's just a Ryzen 5, 3rd gen Ryzen 5 with a 5600 XT. I got it for $750 with the wife's discount. So that's all I need. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah, for that money, you can't, and that's got a 3-year Geekswood warranty on it as well. So
I don't know how you need a 3-year warranty when the sucker's going to be on sale on Twitter in 2 weeks.
It's so heavy, I couldn't ship it. So,
well, maybe this one will stay there for a little bit longer.
It's going to have to. So, well, like I say, my old PC, that's what I bought it for, to replace our aging Windows PC. Mr. Tech Guy here, who likes to be on the bleeding edge, has a 7-year-old PC with an AMD A6.
On that note, since you're making me sick over here, I'm going to go call it night. It's surprised we still got 18 people in here. I don't know what's going on tonight. Maybe the rest of the world is boring or whatever, but we've had like 17 to 20 people in here for like the last half an hour. I'm like, wow, I'm really, really glad all of y'all decided to come hang out with us and listen to us talk about stuff for the last hour or so, which was great. As you know, on the side story, I wasn't feeling all that great today, and Dan wasn't either. So I was talking earlier. I'm like, man, I just I don't know if I want to. I mean, I know we're going to do this tonight, but I'm not excited tonight. And it's like whenever we get on here, and whether he feels crappy, whether I feel crappy, or whatever,
you forget about it.
We start talking, and like 5 minutes later, it's just like spooling up the gears on a car, and I'm like, man, let's go, let's talk.
Mm-hmm. No, I enjoy it. I don't feel unwell. I felt bad all day, like bad with the rheumatoid. Right now, I'm all right.
Good. Well, we go
I don't know whether I'm not. I can't. I'm not. This is why this is here. My room is a mess. My Xbox isn't even set up right now.
Wow, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, no Call of Duty for me.
That's all right. I played a little bit earlier with my brother. I need to shoot another video. I was going to work on that tonight. I was going to try and get another Velvet video put out. I want to push some content for this phone. I like this phone a lot.
My first one for the Velvet will be I'll film it tomorrow and it'll come out Friday. With a Friday video.
If I can get away from the rain, and it's been so bad here. We had this tropical wave that came through. We had a lot of rain the last 3 days. We're talking about now a possibility of a tropical storm hitting here Saturday. So it's supposed to just continue raining all week. And I want to go take pictures with this phone because I always do a 72-hour review. So tomorrow I'll be finishing putting that together for, I guess, for Friday. I'll have my 72-hour review with the Velvet because I like to do an intermediate one, and then I'll do my full review, like, around the 10 to 14 day mark. So I'll be working on that tomorrow night, and hopefully I can go out and get some pictures and don't just have to take pictures of my dog in the living room. But this weather is just not cooperating right now. My pool that I got is still half put together in the backyard because it is raining every day for the last 3 days. So I'm like, please just give me a few rays of sunshine.
Fun.
But I guess we'll go ahead and call it night. And it's already a little bit past time. But thank you so much, guys and gals, everybody who showed up tonight. We appreciate y'all taking the time out of your day to come sit here and visit with us. And we like when y'all are active in the chat. It's great whenever you have questions. And of course, Greg is saying, no, don't go. Don't leave me. You can always text me, Greg. I'm just a phone call away. So thanks again, guys. We certainly appreciate y'all being here. It's been a great time, and this was a really, really good show. Yeah, every week I'll make it worthwhile. So thanks again. Y'all have a wonderful week. Stay safe, and we'll see y'all next week.
Later, Gators.
Later, guys.